Yeah, what air pressure are you running here? Let's get an air check.
Matty boy, I'm live. Let me know when you got me. Doot, 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 doot. Well, it looks like we're gonna be getting some big power gains today. And we are live. It is Thursday. It's time to throw it out there.
I got you.
As well as we got Evolution Powersports in the house.
Oh, good. Thank you for giving it away. That was going to be my surprise. We have special guest in the studio today, and it is.
You know I'm not good at secrets, Justin. Come on, I spill the beans.
Stop interrupting. Good God, man. I wish I could take the mic off your mouth. It would really help everything out, I guarantee it. There's people behind you that agree too. They're all going, yep, buddy. It's better if we didn't hear from Chase.
We got a crowd today. This is kind of crazy.
Actually, there's quite an audience, and the reason is that we have special guests for this feed. This is last second. There was no plan whatsoever, but the guys from Evolution Powersports are in town for the Sand Sport Show here in Scottsdale this weekend. If you guys are out of state and can't make it, then tune in. We're going to show you a whole bunch about the show while we're there, and if you're in town, you're going to go to the show, then we will see you there. But the guys from Evo are here in town with all their fast stuff, so we figured we'd talk about a whole bunch of horsepower this live feed. And
everyone.
Well, to begin with,
take it away.
We've got Jim to my right. We've got Todd Zaccone in the background, trying to make sure that he does not make it on camera. For some reason, he acts like he's scared of it, but we're gonna make sure that he's on it. You guys have questions. Everybody thinks they know everything about horsepower, and you know what? Most people know nothing about it. So that means that you should ask some questions about power. You should ask some questions about how it's made, the process of that. And you know what I think is really cool? The process of how you measure it. Because everybody who makes power measures it a different way so they can make bigger numbers to sell product. And we're going to talk about that. You know what? You may not want to talk about that, but I'm definitely going to talk about that.
Putting me on the spot.
For sure. I mean, he doesn't want to, but I'm going to definitely poke him maybe in the butt real quick and see if he can spit out some horsepower numbers.
When in doubt, poke him in the butt out, as I always say.
I got Chase excited with just talking about the butt. It's easy to do. That and shock shafts. Guaranteed. So, to your right, Chase, we've got one of the Evo cars in the house. And this is going to the show.
Is this Harper or Hyper? I don't know.
Yeah, you definitely can't spell. We've seen all your media posts. So what we're looking at is an X3 RS, but this one's got some special add-ons. I think this one's pretty much your guys' driver, right?
Yeah, this is Todd's daily driver car. Not too much done to it other than, tune. It's got an exhaust. Nice S3 cage, of course, shock therapy suspension.
Loaded?
Loaded. Why go anywhere else, right?
Thank you.
And it's a great car. We used it for some development work, but largely it's been Todd's daily driver.
Well, I would guarantee you that it's not very slow. What are some of the things that are on it as far as power is concerned?
I believe, Todd will have to correct me on this, but I believe it's a big injector stage 5, E80. Todd left the building.
Todd took a walk because he's trying not to be on camera.
I'm going to tell you what's on it. It may or may not be true, but it's an X100 tune. It's our new multi-map tune, which has not been released yet, but it's pretty badass, where you can run pump gas on eco mode and 100 octane on sport mode.
So you can switch back and forth?
Yep.
How's that done on a little switch?
Just on use the keypad that's on the dashboard or on the console, and you just change it from sport to eco. We've actually introduced a third mode, which is called work mode, which will give you all of the responsiveness of sport mode, but still 91 octane, and then you still have your eco mode for letting less experienced drivers use the car.
Like the kids?
Like the kids.
Or your brother. Are you trying to say something?
Speaking of less experienced,
we were going to make sure.
Oh, I thought he was going to Matt because Matt rolled it.
Come on,
What a run-in.
we gotta talk about your girl here.
Yeah.
Harper, can you tell us about her? And put this thing near your lips. Here, is there money in here? I'll take that briefcase.
Closer. Kiss it. Thank you.
So what do you need to know about it?
We want to know why you went this direction with this car as far as power. What is your ideas, and who else should be thinking about building a car like this?
Well, this is not a over-the-top car. This was one of our development cars that, quite frankly, just has a basic tune and has our technology.
We just said it had everything on it. It was the fastest car ever made.
X100 multi-map
it doesn't have a big turbo. It's not making 400 or 500 horsepower. That's for sure. But it has all of our technology built into it, and our big injector tune, and all of our bolt-on go fast parts. Plus, we got all of Shock Therapy's parts on it too.
Well,
where have you driven this thing, Todd?
Grocery store.
Yeah, it's really been driven in the dunes, and that's it.
so if somebody that was a customer of yours or potential customer of yours was looking to get some horsepower, then what would they ask for to get what's in this car? And about how much horsepower does it make? And I mean like honest horsepower. We'll go into the fake horsepower in a minute.
Sure. This has got our X100 tune, so it's a 100 octane tune, big injectors, and it's rated about 245 horsepower.
That's 245 to the tire, 245 crank.
To the crank.
To the crank. So that would be honest power that's kind of not faked, honestly.
Yep. It's I think we measure this one, Jim, at about 200 wheel, 205, something like that.
It's about actually it's about 207 wheel,
Yep.
245 engine.
Yep.
So
Well, that's pretty conservative on the dyno, because I know a lot of wheel dynos, are using a conversion of like 25%. So for instance, if it makes 200 to the tire, they're looking at calling that 250 to 270 at the crank, because they're figuring 25% horsepower loss at the tire. Well, through the drivetrain, I guess. And that's kind of like part of the messing around that happens when it comes to real numbers.
Yeah, and they do the other way too. So, but yeah, we don't see. I think a normal drivetrain loss for a CVT is roughly 20%, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Todd. Well, I'm going to save you here and take this out of your hands, but we got a question.
It doesn't mean you're out of the woods.
Yeah,
We're
not
gonna
out
bring
of
you
the
back.
woods.
You stay close.
We're still talking. Elp Square wants to know, running stage 3 added a super efficient fan for the radiator and intercooler. Is there a way to change the parameters on the tune without adding a secondary fan controller?
Yeah, so all the intercooler fan functions are controlled in the ECU, and with our Stage 3R tune or Stage 3 tune, we do change the parameters at which the fan comes on, at what boost pressure, what throttle position, also what RPM, and essentially we have it set to where as soon as you go wide open throttle and the manifold pressure sensor sees just an increase in boost pressure, that intercooler fan comes on, and it stays on until the car is back down to an idle for 5 seconds. So essentially the fan is running as you're driving the car outside of how the factory set it.
So if you put a more efficient fan on it, then it's not gonna, he doesn't need to turn the parameters up. He's already getting an advantage from that, and you've already modified the parameters to help with that.
That is correct. And one thing I will say about some of the aftermarket fans, we've done a lot of testing with some aftermarket fans, and even though they claim to be higher efficiency fans, for all intents and purposes, we found the factory fan works pretty darn well.
Sometimes you just can't beat good old stock. Woohoo!
That's coming from somebody who knows nothing about mechanics.
That's coming from somebody who always runs stock, Justin.
Yeah, in dirt bikes. All right, translate that to 4 wheels. Not gonna happen there, Chase. I bet you're grabbing the brakes when you jump an SUV, right?
All day.
In the air,
Yes.
trying to drop the nose.
Yep.
Right. He's also grabbing the wheel and yanking back when he leaves the ramp. What else is on this car, you guys, as far as components? I mean, we talked about tune. Is there a turbo on it with this system or not?
Nope,
yet?
this is still stock turbocharger. We just modified the factory wastegate. So this is really just injectors, software, and exhaust components, and that's it.
So what would be the next step from here?
Yeah.
From this particular stage that you're at, what would be the next step in power? So
really the next step in power, same hardware, would just be if the customer wanted to run E85. The 85 tune is about another 10 wheel horsepower over where this one sits, and that requires a fuel pump and a specific E85 tune.
okay.
That was actually a question that I was just about to ask you, so you answered it for.
Oh, got it.
Yep.
So how about next? I'm just going to keep on bumping this up in power.
Yeah.
So where's that E85 tune? It's a 250.
215 wheel, it's 255 horsepower. Yep.
Okay. So what's next in line?
Next in line would be our Dynamite 270 kit. which is a turbocharger upgrade. Jim can talk better about that. He's been responsible for the tuning and the development of those bigger turbo kits.
Jim, you're in.
All right, what do you want to know?
Well, actually, you don't need the mic, do you? Okay, bigger turbo kit.
Yep.
Development of that. What did you have to fix in the stock turbo going to the bigger turbo? I mean, obviously boost. We want more of it, but we want efficient boost, right?
Yeah, so we were the first to market with a big turbo upgrade. That was our Stage 6, which was essentially a modified stock turbo, and it did really well. I mean, you know, it was the best turbo kit out there for a couple of years, you know, starting in 2017. But as time went on, guys wanted more power. The restriction in the factory turbo was in the exhaust side, and there was really no way to fix that efficiently. You know, there was no way to fix it using the same manifold. So we worked with you know, a couple of turbo companies to build aftermarket turbos for specifically direct bolt-on with header, everything, you know, so it fits just like the factory turbo, and developed, you know, a number of different big turbo kits. And now, you know, what used to be when 300 horsepower was okay, now it's like 400. Everyone wants 400 horsepower. But for the guys that don't want that much power, you know, we start out at a 270 kit, which is 100 octane tune. We also have an E85 tune and a 91 pump gas tune. So for customers, it's super slick because they don't have to change anything other than the fuel and the tune. So basically, you know, if they want to run pump gas on 110, they don't even have to siphon out the 110. Just put pump gas in it, lower the tune. For E85, because it's an alcohol-based fuel, you have to really make sure that the fuel is out of the tank before converting to that. So that's just the entry level, and beyond that, it's, you know, it goes up to, you know, 550 horsepower from there.
I can't wait to get to the 550 stuff. Matt, you got a question?
Yep. Nick Martin has a question for Evo. Currently running the Dynamite kit. Is there anything in the works for the XPT intercooler bypass? And could you eliminate the stock intercooler with having too much serve volume?
Okay, so on the XP Turbo, yes, the biggest issue with that is the intercooler itself. I mean, you're limited by what Polaris gives you, and you know, there's been some problems with that OEM intercooler, but we do have a solution that's coming, you know, in the next month or so that will help XP Turbo customers, you know, just get more reliable performance out of those vehicles.
So we're at 275 horsepower. Let's go up. What's next in line?
Are we talking about XP Turbo or?
We're kind of still talking about the X3, but you can talk about, you know, RZR stuff too, because, you know, we have a lot of people that have them.
Yeah, so RZR, we've actually come full circle on the RZR. You know, we were probably the first company to tune the RZR Turbo, and, you know, really did well in that market, never really left it, but, you know, because of some, you know, issues with durability at high horsepower levels, we kind of left that alone for a few years while we developed the X3, because the X3 as a base engine is incredible. I mean, we can, you know, 355 horsepower of a stock engine is ridiculous. But we have a lot of RZR customers, they want more power too, and so we're just beginning the development of some higher horsepower RZR packages as well. So
Before we talk any more horsepower here, Jason Magley 13, Justin, what's up? Hope I didn't ruin the video shoot with our water trailer.
Oh, the boys yesterday, right on, man. So just a backstory, we were filming yesterday doing some sway bar testing, and we're on a desolate road with cones in the middle of it, and we're parked over there with Chase has got his cameras and tripods and everything set up, and these two guys come along and they've got a water trailer that's probably 3,000 gallons or so, because of the ranchers surrounding that whole area. And the area has probably been completely overrun by side-by-sides, and guys are doing burnouts on that road for drag racing at night. And the first thing they do is they come up like, "You guys gonna be smoking some tires?" I'm like lighting them on fire or doing burnouts? Because I can do burnouts if you want me to. Nope, we don't want any of that. We're the ranchers here. They kind of lit us up, but they came back later and helped us out with the filming. So thank you guys for not turning us in. But horsepower. Horsepower, we're going up from 275. Let's jump up. Oh, Mitch has got a question.
Yeah, I actually lost everything because I had to reconnect it, but I do remember one. You guys probably get asked this a lot. If a customer buys a tune, does it void their warranty on all their dealership stuff?
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy, that's a good question. You want to take it?
You know, fortunately, we work with a lot of Can-Am dealerships, and some of our dealerships have aftermarket warranties that cover a Evolution Powersports tuned vehicle, even in the extended warranty program. So it is on an OEM dealership level, it is a little bit of a gray area, and it really just comes down to, you know, did the part cause a failure? You know, a lot of times, you know, things that are under warranty don't have anything to do with the, you know, an ECU tune or anything like that. So I mean, it's a 6-month warranty from the factory, and from, you know, from our standpoint, a basic stage 1 through 3 tune, no problems with them.
So, in short, it kind of depends on whether the dealer's going to support it or not, or try and get an excuse to go, you know what, well, I broke an axle in the car, and they're going to try and blame you. That is that unfortunate. Some of them try to do that. But if it was an engine issue and it was a stage 1 through 3, then you're probably good.
Yeah, correct.
The way I look at it is kind of like, what's 6 months when you could have an extra 6 feet on your competition? Come on.
Back to the shaft issues
6
and the butt
feet?
play.
What are you talking about?
All of a
6
sudden,
feet?
Chase is happy.
Drag race.
60 feet.
Yeah, 60 feet.
60
we don't care about doors and fenders. We want a
Okay.
big jump. And I'm talking like I'm at the drag race. I just love drag racing, man. I just love horsepower. I'm not doing what these guys are at, you know, the big events. But 275, next jump. You got, so what do you got in the 300s?
310. 310 is the next jump. That's also our Dynamite kit for the X3. It's E85 or 110 or 91. You know, so we have tunes developed for that, but to run that extra power, you need you know, one of our race intercoolers. You need some kind of plenum reinforcement. But really, that's it. I mean, that and clutching is really all you need over the normal 270, you know, 275 kit.
After 310, where you at?
320.
Okay, let's jump up
Okay.
to 3. How about 350 or 60?
Oh, you want to go big jump?
I'm
Okay,
jumping
all right,
big.
Let's go
We're
right
stepping this
let's
up.
go right to 355.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a brand new turbo kit. We call it the Desert Storm 355 SCR. That stands for Stock Cam Racing. We've been doing these kits on bone stock engines with our head studs and our Desert Storm turbo, you know, our tuning, intercooler, plenum reinforcement, and these cars are absolutely on fire. I mean, they are kicking ass everywhere. And you know, it's just a great kit. We've built a lot of kits. This is probably the best kit we have. It's tunable, it's fast, and you know, guys who want to do wheelies, it's got enough throttle response, pick the front end up off the ground, and it's really the most refined kit that we have. We also, because we know that customers don't want to run race gas all the time. Okay, that's a big thing. People are like, oh man, I don't want to run race gas or E85 all the time. So we tune all of our kits for pump gas, 110, and E85. You know, those 3 fuels.
So you can flip it on the dash with that kit. You can just
No,
decide.
you do have to reflash it, right?
Okay.
So with a customer with map tuner, you just program in the tune that you want to run, and then put the correct fuel in, and then you're good to go.
Do you guys have any problems with people putting pump gas in there when it's on an E85 tune?
I'm sure it's happened, but I think our
They find out
customers are
pretty
pretty.
They know right away.
Our customers are pretty educated. I would say it's very rare that something like that happens. So.
At so 380, they're 355 is what you were saying.
Yep.
Somebody could tune that around.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
It's a fabulous kit.
Now 355 and 342. How do you guys come up with these numbers, and why are we skipping 369?
Well, we're not trying to skip the old 69, but you know, the next kit from there is a 360 kit, and that's we're close to your number. But that's got cams, rising rate fuel system, great kit also. But we really feel like customers are going to gravitate to this new 355 kit because you don't have to change the cams, and it's pretty much stock fueling system, which just makes it easier and less expensive for the customers.
And they're building blocks. So like a 360 kit is set up to go to the next jump, which is a 420 kit, whereas the 355 kit is an upgrade over the 320 kit. So you can take a 320 kit to 355 with pretty much the same equipment except for injectors.
Just injectors, so it's very simple.
So that's really the max for that platform. And then you move into the 360 platform, and that gets you up to 420.
Chase loves 420, that's for sure.
420 kit, man. You're going to be smoking more than just tires, brother.
I was going to ask you guys why you went from 355 to 60. It seems like 5 horse. Why would you even bother? So it's the next step.
Yeah, it's the next step for the lower staged turbo system.
On a 420, are you taking the bottom end apart yet? Are you doing anything major?
Yes.
Okay.
Full engine build. 420 kit requires full engine build, re-sleeve block. I mean, to make that jump from 350, 360 to 420 is a substantial investment, and because the block needs it. I mean, at 400 horsepower is where we started to see the cylinders begin to distort, and so for customers to do that kind of power, it requires some substantial upgrades.
Once they've done that, and there is 420 the max from that 360 to 420?
Nope.
Okay, what's after that?
After that is a 450 kit, which is, basically our Desert Storm car is running that, 450 kit. Are you filming my fingers?
He likes.
Oh, are you filming my?
Both your chest and your shirt. I was just showing this for the ladies and this for the boys.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So back to big power.
Desert Storm, you said. What's the Desert Storm? How crazy does this get?
The Desert Storm starts at 320 and goes all the way up to 550. So we got lots of steps in between. But what's happening is that as we learn more and as we've made the engines more durable through our racing program, we've been able to incrementally increase that power with more different versions of the Desert Storm, with bigger compressors and more efficient aero on the compressor housings. So so that's kind of how it goes.
I would like to know if there's anything above a 550, because I'm kind of loving the horsepower you guys are dishing out.
We got a climax at a 669 or something crazy.
Well, we could call it a 669 if that makes you happy. But the next step from there is we call it our H700 package. There's only one of those in existence that's on our Outlaw class car. And that is, a whole nother level, but also, a whole nother level of complexity as well. So we haven't sold any of those kits. That's strictly for our own, in-house racing program. But then that technology that we learn in that always filters down to the lower kits to make them more
I think we're
reliable.
taking off. The shuttle's landing.
So
sorry about the AC, you guys, but we had to turn that on. So how about this? Would you be willing to give out some horsepower numbers to your competition that you're beating currently in the Outlaw series? What kind of numbers do you think that you're putting down right now? Or do you want to give that out?
I don't want to give it out because.
How about 700?
You want
the 700 is pretty close, but we'll see. We'll see
how
how
about 750? Do I hear 755?
We'll see where we end up, Justin. I see where you're going with this.
I am trying to pull it out of you.
We're racing against Jason Wolf, and I know you guys are tight, so
he doesn't talk numbers with me at all.
No.
I will call him right now. You know what? I will call him right now, and we will talk.
Strictly stickers with the Wolf.
Yeah. No.
We do get a lot of questions about the side-by-side blog guys. You guys do some stuff with their cars, correct?
Yeah, no, they're great guys.
What did you guys do specifically? And it's something that gets asked all the time on the feed to their RS1.
They did an engine swap, an XP
You're on
Turbo
speaker
engine
and you're
swap,
on live.
we
Would
did
you
a
like to talk to the
Dynamite
Evo boys?
turbo kit for that car.
Sure.
So it's
All
pretty
right.
sweet.
Oh, you're getting called out.
Hold on. So at the moment we have somebody that's competition to these guys at Desert Storm. So I'm going to hold you up to my microphone. The boys over at Evo, Jason, are not willing to give out any horsepower numbers on what they're running. Are you right now, in front of everybody else, competing with them, willing to say what your Razor puts to the ground or to the crank?
Live.
To the crank? Yeah, no worries.
Let's hear it.
Our Z1's only making 450.
Well played. Well played. Bone stock, right?
Good
I mean,
for
you haven't
you,
even
man.
touched it. You're just showing up to these races.
with 91 octane.
Dude, congrats, man. That was good.
All right, Jason, thank you, man. I know I'm not going to pull anything else out of you, but the boys over here say hi, and they say you're doing a good job.
Oh, perfect. I appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
All right, then.
I see what you guys did there. Y'all are acting like a bunch of drag queens right now. The people want numbers.
Nope.
Not going to happen?
No.
All right. How about this? What kind of horsepower do you think somebody else is making at these events? I know that the Yamahas are touted as possibly making the most horsepower. Somewhere in the 7s would be my guess, or what I've heard, but they cannot hold it together. They've got trans and clutch and
Say the
driveline.
first part of that sentence slowly again. Which car?
So the Yamaha tends to break every single time at every one of these races.
But what happens? It's the fast. You said something.
No,
about
I didn't.
fast.
No, I said it's making a lot of horsepower, but
Oh.
it can't hold it together.
Sorry, a boy could get excited.
Yeah, sorry to break your the news to you, but would you guys guess on some of that stuff? Have you guys tested any of that as well?
We have not. I mean, the cars are fast. I mean, there's definitely not taking nothing away from those guys. They're fast. I don't know what they'd be making.
How about this
700
then?
Maybe.
I would guess somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 700? I mean, I don't know. The person that's probably the average guy watching this right now is thinking 700 horsepower of 1,000 cc. That's insane.
Yeah.
You know, how do you do that? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. What do you think that most of the teams out here have that are running this big series stuff have in an engine?
I know the Z1s are capable of 700 plus. I mean, that's been proven long ago with the Snowmobile drag racing. I mean, right? I mean, they're
Those engines have been around for over 10 years, and they're pretty well developed. And I'm pretty sure those Z1s are in the 750 range.
So that would be mostly Biffle at the moment?
Scott Hughes and Greg Biffle.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
But K&T has some Z1 cars that are very fast too. So
Do
and
you
Jason,
see,
of course.
yeah.
And Jason as well. How about everybody asks us what we think about the new speed car, and we don't have one in our hands, so we can't give advice. But from what you've seen on engine work, development, dyno stuff that maybe they've put out, do you have any ideas on what you think that they're going to be? Like, is that going to be the next one that people are going to want to jump on that might hold the power, or have you not seen the details to know?
Don't.
Well, I'm
Dun,
happy
dun,
to
dun.
comment. I mean, listen, it's an incredible program. I mean, I will say that. I mean, I've watched the advertisements. But the issue is, can he pull it off? Can Robbie pull it off? I guess time will tell. I mean, I think the first deliveries are supposed to be in November and December, so that's a month away. If he pulls it off, he'll be a hero.
Yeah.
And the car technologically is very cool. I mean, he's got some great ideas in it. The engine is looks a lot like a Z1 turbo engine, which is a great engine with some upgrades. I mean, he's got electronic throttle body. They changed the turbo up. So some really cool things. But is it going to be enough to hold Can-Am off of whatever they're going to release next year? I don't know. I think whatever Can-Am's got coming is going to be pretty spectacular.
What do you think Can-Am's got coming out?
Well, I'm not going to
Do
say
tell.
anything.
Come on.
I'm gonna poke.
Keep poking me.
I know, right? Kick him in the dong.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what Can-Am's
You don't know. He won't say. Probably more likely the truth. Todd.
No, we don't know, honestly. We
Okay.
have no.
Spill the beans.
Well, you know what? I don't know probably as much about the details that are in that speed package, but I think that he's got a lot of ideas that were passed down from Biffle putting power to him. I think that the cylinders are splayed slightly to allow for a sleeve change and bigger CC, and more head bolts. It would be the typical
Yeah.
weak links, right?
Yep.
So maybe they could be turned up pretty heavy. Maybe have to change the rules in the Outlaw class if that one becomes the popular one or not. Speaking of the Outlaw class, you guys pretty much been dominating. What are the classes that you run?
We race the Pro Mod and the Outlaw class and the Stock class.
What are the simplest way you could describe the rules between them?
Stock class is basically a a showroom stock car with stock turbocharger, and open, at this point it's open fuel. So beginning of the series, the stock class was limited to gasoline, but now they've updated it to E85.
How do they keep you guys from messing with it? Are they sealed? Is that a sealed
It's
engine?
kind of
or-
an on your honor sort of deal. They do check the turbocharger inlet size to make sure that the turbocharger has been increased, but that's pretty much it.
Okay.
The mod class is a turbocharger limited class, so it's pretty well open except for the size of the turbocharger, and then
Anything you want to the engine, so you're pulling it apart and doing what you want. Is there a CC limit?
is it the same as Outlaw, or is it? No, it still has to be a stock.
I think it's got to be a stock. I mean, I know ours is stock. Stock CCs is not bored out or anything. But other than so when you jump up to the Outlaw class, then it's like anything goes in terms of you can run methanol, up to M5 methanol. We have more options in terms of turbo. I mean, turbo's wide open. We run 100 millimeter turbo if we wanted. If we could spool it, maybe. And then there are, when you get to the mod class and the Outlaw class, there are safety requirements that we have to meet. So like the cage has to be a certain design, certain wall thickness, and it's for safety. I mean, one of these days someone's going to crash, and I think the rules that Greg's put into place will probably save someone's life, going forward. Because these cars will do, on the flat, they'll do almost 100 miles an hour and 300 feet. So they're really very, very fast cars.
That's
in the
no
Outlaw.
joke. That's no joke at all. What's your do you guys have 60-foot lights and times there?
We do. We have. The problem is everywhere we go, it's out in the sand dunes, and the wind is blowing like crazy. And so for the first 3 or 4 races, they had full timing gear, but every single race we had problems. So we went to like a light system, where they're still filming the start and they're still filming the end, but rather than have all the lights and the 60-foot times and all the calculations, that it's a simple button on a timer.
Start, stop, finish.
Exactly.
Yeah, got it.
We got a ton of questions coming in, Justin. Why don't you tell everyone kind of what we've been talking about here before we start getting these guys on rapid fire
So
here.
today was a last-minute Evo takeover. The guys are in town for a Sand Sport show. We've got one of their race cars, which is actually a daily play car, in the shop, and having them talk about some of the different stages and horsepower that are available for you to buy, as well as the stages that they're actually running in some of the racing series right now, where they're extremely successful and probably winning, I would say, 80-90% of what you got going on.
Well, I want to,
depending on class.
I want to be clear. Yeah. So the mod class we've done very well. We won 4 out of the 5 races so far this season. We're undefeated until the last race. And we got beat fair and square. No excuses. The Outlaw class, we built a brand new car first of the year, and it's taken up until now to really get the thing to be reliable. It's fast as hell. I mean, it can compete with everything that's out there. The issue we've had is making it be able to make all the rounds. So I think by the final race we're going to have everything come together, and we're going to do our best. We hope to win that last race.
So we have talked horsepower in the kits. We've talked how you stage that all the way from 200 to 550. But we haven't talked about how horsepower is measured. And this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, because back in the day I used to drag race a lot and work on dynos, and you can pretty much manipulate horsepower numbers that are read to the tire or to the crank if you wanted to, just by inputting different parameters into some of your dyno inputs. But what I see a lot of, and this isn't necessarily everybody, it's just my observation, that a lot of the people that have their stage 1 tune makes 10 horsepower more than yours or more than the next guy, and the idea is that they're making more power for the same money. But is it really making that power? It's a dyno number that they might have manipulated versus a dyno number that's honest. And you don't know until both cars are on the same dyno with the same guy running it and not changing parameters. Otherwise, you just don't know. You're going by somebody's word, or if you put them both together in a race and you see exactly what's going on. So what are some of the ways that, like, say, other shops can change numbers for their advantage when they're selling this stuff?
I don't honestly. I don't know what they do. All I know is what we do, and I believe our dyno is probably. I mean, it reads. I think it reads low, but it's.
Well, so we have 3 dynos. Okay, so we have a dyno over at Jeffrey's Performance. It's a Dynojet 250iX. There's the boy.
There's RJ right there.
Whoa.
Surprise.
We have a Dynojet 224 LCX back at our shop in Wisconsin, and then we also have a Dynamite engine dyno. So we've got plenty of capability to measure. But to what Justin said is, the key to giving accurate gains is you got to rigorously baseline the car, and whatever that number is, it's the number, and then you have to tune from there, and whatever that spread is what it is. Now, are people inflating horsepower numbers? I have no idea. All I know is that
I will tell you that they are.
Okay.
I know you're not going to say it, but I know that it's happening a lot.
And so rather than play that game, we'll publish our numbers, and then we'll just let the racing speak for itself. That's the way to put it to bed at the end of the day. Okay.
Good idea.
So you want to know how much it's horsepower and clutching. Okay, because and suspension, of course, right? I mean, those are the things that make the car fast if you're drag racing. So we just let those results speak for themselves, and I think everyone knows where we stand. So
Mitch, you got anything? Any good questions?
Here and grab the microphone.
Yeah.
I got Slogie 37. How much boost can a stock turbo take before maxing out?
That's a great question. It
On an X3, right?
He doesn't specify, so I'm not sure, but kind of a broad question, I guess.
Yeah, the 17 through 19 X3s, about 21, 22 pounds max. The 2020 RRs seem to have some variability between them. A good one will make 27 pounds. An
That's
average
huge.
one will make
Huge change.
Huge. An average one will be 24, and then a low one will be 23. So, there must be some difference in the machining of the exhaust housing where the wastegate flapper valve meets the exhaust housing, because we've not been able to detect any difference dimensionally between one that'll make 27 pounds and one that'll make 23 pounds. So
well, it is high production, so they may not be able to control a lot of it either. And
Right.
You guys get to deal with those variables too.
exactly.
What else you got, Mitch?
Racer X315 wants to know any power for the KRXs yet.
Not from our side. We built a pretty kick-ass exhaust for the KRX, but
Busted. You pulled a chase on the phone.
we built a pretty kick-ass exhaust for the KRX, and we're kind of leaving that open, because if Kawasaki would get on board and make a factory turbocharged car, you can bet we'd be first in line to make some big power with that.
So I do have something to offer with that. Had some conversations with Kawasaki lately. Awesome people, by the way.
Yeah.
The board over there are amazing, and the guys in marketing are great too. So we might have some information on that coming to you soon. Nothing I can tell you today
That'd be
in front of a
sweet.
camera. I know that there's nobody watching, but we'll have to wait.
Yeah.
Franco Side by Side Custom says, Todd, does the 355 kit run on 96 UTV octane VP race fuel?
We don't have a calibration for 96, do we? No. Yeah, so we specifically developed it for 91 and 100 octane. So I think that UTV 96 is 96 octane, so it's a little shy.
You'd have to run on the 91 setting to be safe.
Yeah.
Just to correct it, it's 91, 110, and E85 for the DS3.
Oh, 355. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking 270.
Yep.
But yeah. So yeah, no, sorry.
Answer's no, but you can do it just on the 91 setting.
Triple digit sketch, will there be a flex fuel monitor in the future?
To be determined. Okay, it's something we're looking at, but it's a lot of effort, and I'm not quite sure the market cares about that. You can run E85 or you can run pump gas. Would it be nice to have a flex fuel sensor? Maybe. Guys use it.
Yeah, and it's something we have in our Outlaw car, but it's not something that we've really honed in on as something that needs to be for the masses yet. But we'll see.
Mitch?
One more from Ryan K. Mitchell, do you expect to pull more out of the XPT motor configuration? I know the tunes are one thing, but as far as pushing reliable power.
Well, I think we found the reliable horsepower number in the Razor Turbo platform, and that's kind of why we haven't really developed it much further than where we're at now. But we do have things in the works that will be pushing the horsepower limits beyond the 270 mark where we're at now.
So 270 is typically, right now in an XP, your reliable
that's the
number.
max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stevo714, Evo is the best. Shout out to Nick Bonnell. He convinced me to get all the goodies 3 years ago on my OG Mav Turbo.
Hey, Stevo. Thank you.
That's good. All right. Well, I think we don't have any more questions, and if you guys don't have anything else you want to talk about when it comes to kits or things coming out, I know we talked beforehand and you didn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but if you want to give hints at all on some new products, you're welcome to right now. This is your only chance.
Well, just know we've got some cool stuff coming this year. Can't talk about it right now, but one of them is going to be that multi-map tune for the X3, which, you know, basically you got 3 tunes in one. That's going to be fantastic. We already teased an adjustable launch control, which is also coming this year. Guys are going to go nuts over that. And I only talked about one feature of that, and that's the variable RPM, but there's other things in that guys are going to go crazy over. So guys and gals. We don't leave the gals out. So
awesome. Anything?
He covered it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you guys, for coming in last second, bringing everything that you had with you and talking about this. Kind of threw him on the spot and said, guess what, we're talking. And he's like, about what? Well, you guys got all of it pretty easy out of them, and thanks for the questions. If you guys have more questions for both of these guys, then make sure you go out to the Sandsport show this weekend in Scottsdale, and they're going to answer all your questions at their booth, and they can show you all the details of their product as well. That way you can touch it and feel it, and it's a lot easier to buy when you can touch and feel. Kind of like Chase. So if you guys have any questions about our products, then go to shocktherapist.com or give us a call, 623-217-4959. But just to put a wrap at the end of this, if you guys want to go fast, give Evo a call, and they will take care of you, and they will also take care of you after the fact. I've seen it myself. Have a good day.
Rogue73, hashtag keep chase. How was your trip to Lake Alamo? Now let me tell everyone here, if you guys are ever going to Havasu, do not take the chicken road through Wickiup. I will promise you, your road trip will become way more complicated if you take the chicken road through Wickiup.